Hi, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Women of a Certain Age. My name is Daheen, where we celebrate Gen X and with the goal of living on purpose, living with confidence, purpose, and joy. This is a space where we thrive and we navigate through faith, dating, health, wellness, finances, and much, much more. It is late in the hour, and I have made several attempts again to do this video, and it has been trial and error for me. So I figured I would just go ahead and let it roll, and we'll see what happens. Today we are going to talk about the comparison trap. But before we do, I would like you to hit that like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you know when my next video is going to come up. Now, my question to you, I would like you to put in the comments is, tell me, where do you feel you should be at this particular age? Maybe even throw in a why. Is it because you are a certain age and by now something or someone has either told you or showed you that you should be there? Particularly my Gen Xers that are in your 50s. Do you feel that you are behind the eight ball or are you catching up? Why did you decide to get to that point? And I'm asking because, myself included, for many years I thought that I should be at a certain space. And I realized that I'm where I am. Now, whether or not that was delayed on my part or delayed because of circumstances or situations, I don't know. By now, you should know, as I stated, if you see my other videos, you should know that if you see me look off, that means I'm looking at my notes to make sure that I cover all the things that I said I was going to discuss. So think about whether that means in terms of career, whether that means uh, maybe in your 20s, you said you were going to be married with children, you were going to, or not, because that is not the desire of many. I do realize that. But whatever it is that you said that you wanted to be by a certain age, because you put a timeline and you put a clock on it, are you there? And if you're not there, how do you feel about it? It's okay either way, because many of us have set goals and had to move the goalposts because it either happened sooner than expected, it happened later than expected, or in many cases, it hasn't happened at all. So, my question to you again is, put in the comments, was there something that you thought you would have accomplished by the age that you are now? And also, was there something that you thought you would have accomplished by the age you are now and it hasn't happened and you're glad that it did not? Because that's fine as well. Now, when we talk about the comparison trap, what are you comparing it to? Is social media your biggest comparison? So when I say that, I'm pretty sure you understand, but let me just point out some things that I hear quite often. Oftentimes, we will go down the rabbit hole of, or you'll hear somebody say, maybe not. But there are times when you'll think of some old classmates or someone you knew way back when, and you decide that you're going to go look this person up. And when you look this person up, they are thriving in your eyes, according to it really is relative to where you are. Um, because I may look at somebody and say they're thriving, and someone else may look at them and be like, I don't really want that life. So, as I stated, it's relative. But let's say you go look up someone and they are living their best life, quote unquote. Now, that may be true. They may be living their best life, but that's according to you. And are they living their best life because you maybe wish you had their life, or maybe you feel like they are successful and maybe not something you want to be successful in or wanted to be successful in, but they are successful and you feel like maybe you're not successful? Because someone can look at you and may feel you are living the life as well. So, in a case like that, that's what I'm talking about, the comparison trap. Social media can be one of the like adding fuel to the fire type situation. You look up someone and you're like, oh, they're doing it, they're making it happen. I'm gonna just keep going. As a matter of fact, let me turn off this here because my excuse me, sorry. Okay, I'm back. So, as I was stating, their life may seem like it is a bundle of joy, but you don't really know what the back end of the story is. Oftentimes, people will say social media is a lie. And in many cases, I don't want to say many, but in a lot of cases, it is. But sometimes when you see people that are doing well, that you think they're doing well, or in your eyes, you may not understand the backstory. It's kind of like, when you hear people say, this person was an overnight success. And those overnights could have been years of overnight. But because they weren't on your radar at a particular time, they just came out of nowhere. And we know that not to be true, but it just seems that way because at one point you probably wasn't checking for them. So we look at that oftentimes in Hollywood. Someone has been doing little jobs and uh, being extras on shows or taking non-speaking parts or um, those type of things, and then all of a sudden you see them and you're like, oh wow, this person just popped out of nowhere. And they really didn't. They have been putting in the work. We just haven't seen them do the work. And it wasn't until something that was of interest to us that we're like, oh wow, they've been doing this for a while. Now, every once in a while, someone will pop out and they got their first role or something. Not common, but it is something that does happen from a time to time. So I'm not going to take away from that. But how do we, change our perception or, comparing ourselves to others? We can't do that because it's not helpful. So, what are some of the steps that we do to change that? Change our mindset. Wherever you are, at whatever age you are. Um, let's say my fellow 50-year-olds. Do you feel like there's something that you should have accomplished? And if you haven't, can you still accomplish it? Or is it even something that you want to do now? Oftentimes, we set these goals when we're younger, and then as we get older and it doesn't happen, we realize that it wasn't that important to us. So, what do we do about that? I think we should focus on where we are in the space that we're in. some people have these lofty goals of what, let's say, maybe someone said one day they want to go to the moon. And I know that seems far fetched, but that is a goal that some people have. And then they change their mind and they say it's not as important because as we grow, we learn different things and how we maneuver and what that looks like. So if the moon is not your desire now, what is your moonlight goal? And when I say that, I'm not talking about something that is, because when I say moonlight, I'm not saying something where somebody be like, okay, that's not realistic. But what is something that is challenging or something you can do instead of comparing yourself to someone? And what can you do or what steps can you do to get there? What does that look like? Um, and how do you work in terms of, you know, where you are now? Are you grateful for what you do now? Are you grateful for maybe the space you're in? And I am aware that there are some circumstances where it is very hard for you to be grateful in the space you are now because it is such a difficult space. But there maybe can be a mind shift change, possibly. I don't want to make light of anybody's situation because I know oftentimes we end up in hard spaces and places, and it's like, how do we get out of that? How do we shift our mindset? What does that look like? Um, what about your support group? What does that look like? Because if you are around people that aren't used to thriving or seeing life, you know, glass half full, a glass half empty. Sometimes the glass can be half empty, but how do we change that mindset? What do we do in order to get it uh, half full as opposed to half empty? Is there someone that you can talk to that may be able to change or help you see something differently? And oftentimes we speak out of experiences. So if you go to somebody and maybe, I don't know if everybody's familiar with the term of Debbie Downer, but I believe it used to be a Saturday Night Live skit, I want to say. And nothing that was said or done did Debbie not bring something up that just wasn't a pleasant experience. Um, it could be you could be outside and it's like, oh, I'm so happy that the sun is out. And Debbie would be like, yeah, but you could get sunburned and die. So you have to be mindful who you talk to and who you share stuff with. And sometimes on instinct, people will say stuff that I don't want to say that they don't mean it, but that's their experience. So understand the source because it could be a different experience for them as it is for you. So when you are trying to move out of the comparison and move into what you want to do, you want to, of course, stop comparing yourself to someone else. You are your own person in terms of not looking at what is uh, Joan over here doing that you are not doing. Not realizing that Joan has had some time getting where she is, and you don't see the backstory of Joan. Um, I chose the name Joan because I love the show Girlfriends. Um, how do you get, comparison? How do you get from there, and what can motivate you? What is going to motivate you? That can mean you're motivated by reading scriptures, change your mindset, shifting. Little shifts make a difference. Um, who can you connect with? You ever meet people that are just a bundle of joy? Um, like trying to be around them. Um, and don't steal their joy. Uh, I know Tad Brown has a saying, her saying is very true. Whether or not you're having a good day, don't go messing up somebody else's. So just keep that in mind when you're doing your uh, shifting to stop comparing, because that is the goal. Um, what else can I think of that will help? Practice gratitude. Focus on your journey, not someone else's journey, but your unique journey. Um, Shift your algorithm in terms of social media. Go on to stuff that is going to bring you joy and gratitude. If you are because comparison can lead to resentment, comparison can lead to unhappiness. You look at somebody's life and then you start looking at yours and you'll say, oh, your life is never going to be this, or it's that, or that. Like, just keep picking apart that type of thing. Shift. What do I need to do? Go on, limit your social media that is going to do that. But if you're going to go on social media, start looking up stuff in terms of looking for the experiences you want to experience, whether that's travel, whether that's career, going on YouTube University. You want to learn something, it's all there. Going on websites that provide courses and classes so you can change and shift what you want to do. So, saying all that, I hope that you are having an amazing, I hope that you have an amazing time, and encourage each other, inspire one another, because we're all in this together, right? Just remember that we continue to live life, we continue to have joy, and we continue to make a difference. Thank you for joining me. I will see you back here another time, and be blessed.